In Ukraine, Russian attacks targeted energy facilities in the northeastern city of Sumy today, leaving one person dead. The Ukrainian Air Force said it had shot down 46 of 52 drones that were launched by Moscow overnight. Well, France 24's senior correspondent Catherine Norris-Trent is in Kyiv for us at the moment. We're going to talk more about the situation in Ukraine. Catherine, welcome. It's been more than 2.5 years now since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The war is still grinding on, as we saw again with those latest developments. What are the prospects for an end to this war?
Well, that is the huge question here, Jeannie. Ukraine is putting the finishing touches, President Zelensky says, to what it is terming its victory plan. In other words, a plan to try and end this war, but on Ukraine's terms. And it's a plan that he will be taking to the US in a couple of weeks when he'll meet with Joe Biden, and which Ukraine will also be hoping to try and get other world leaders on board within and around the UN General Assembly in New York. Remember a while ago when President Zelensky and Ukraine put forward this 10-point peace plan? Well, Russia flatly rejected that out of hand, did not engage with it at all. So I met with one of President Zelensky's closest advisors, and I asked him, what has changed? Why do they believe that this new plan will work? Take a listen.
You can't talk to Russia. It is not ready for a realistic perception of what is happening. It is not ready to return to the concept of international law. And our peace plan that was initially proposed was based on the assumption that Russia would realize the devastation war was causing, the consequences of this war, and would be ready for dialogue. But today, it is obvious that the Russian Federation has to be coerced. And our victory plan is based on the use of coercive instruments, military, diplomatic, and economic. We will discuss everything. Our president will present it all. And the president, by the way, has said that no formulas proposed by outside or third countries to freeze the conflict immediately on Russia's terms will not be accepted. They are not acceptable for Ukraine. After 2.5 years, Ukraine will not follow these formulas.
So an awful lot to unpick there. But firstly, you can see that that Ukraine is still not willing to concede any of its territory at all, making that clear, rejecting that out of hand. And they fear that out of principle, out of international law, that would set a bad precedent. And they're worried that by doing so, Russia would basically just rearm and regroup and then attack again. But also, what's really interesting is they're talking about coercing Russia, and partly through military means. And what does that mean? It means the recent offensive, the Ukrainian offensive into the Kursk area region of Russia is going to be used in that. This is what this advisor told us specifically, that this is one part of the leverage they are hoping to use against Russia, that the Kursk offensive, economic pressure, political pressure and diplomatic pressure will force Russia to come to the table. And they're hoping that not only the US will get on board, but that other world leaders such as China and India will get on board. But they remain very big unanswered questions.